guys? My name is Elijah, and today I'm going to be talking about acquiring photos for your blogs. I'm going to use three examples for this: stock photos, AI generated photos, and original photos, as in self-taken photos. So let's just dive right in. All right. The first website that I want to look at, or the first option, is Unsplash, which is a website for stock photos. All right, let's see. So I'm going to demonstrate here just the pros and cons with all these options. I'm going to do that with acquiring stock photos in general using Unsplash as an example, and then I'm going to go from there. All right, so let's see. Let's try to find a picture of baby ducks crossing the road. Baby ducks crossing the road. You can hear through the fan in my computer. All right, let's see what we got. So we've got ducks on concrete. We've got one duck walking on a road. Okay, okay. Now let's say my blog post was about addressing the issues related to ducks crossing the road. How many of these images would adequately fit that? Okay, so we've got ducks here. We've got one duck on the road. I mean, it's on a road. That's kind of an older duck though, so it's not as emotionally connecting to an audience. And that's a pigeon. What the heck? Let's see. The best image in here that I can see that addresses this is this, because it's a few ducks just like sitting by what's clearly a road, but there's not really any cars that's being shown. And this is an issue that I found with trying to find images on stock photo websites, is that you don't really get the specific thing that you're looking for most of the time. So the pros, you could save a ton of time. It took me less than like 3 minutes to find, less than 1 minute actually, to find this image. No skill required other than effective Google searching skills, I guess, and a wide variety of choices. You've got a whole ton of choices here that you could choose from. Not all of them are on point though, which brings me to my list of cons. They're not specific or customizable. They might cost money or have a watermark. Some of these images, like this one, have watermarks on them, and a lack of genuinity and connection. When you make a blog post, you have to credit it to whoever, you have to credit the photos to whoever made the image. And people will see that the image was created by someone else, and they're going to be like, oh, well, I don't really care much for this picture because it came from the dark and cold pool of floating ideas that are created by people trying to make money. So with that being said, let's try out AI. So I love using Gemini AI for a lot of reasons. It's fast, it's highly professional, and the stuff it produces isn't that bad. So let's try to create what we were trying to get out of the stock images from on this AI website. So make a photo of a family of ducks crossing the road. And let's just make it simple, because sometimes adding too much detail can confuse AI and people. All right, and it's loading. Okay, actually, this is not that bad. We've got a family of ducks crossing the road, and there's a car back there, so it gets the idea. But here's something that I find difficult with Gemini AI. Let's see. Make the ducks look a little more scared, like they're crossing the street quickly. And, we'd want to add a little bit of urgency here, because ducks crossing the street, I mean, that's a dangerous situation for them. All right, let's see. I mean, yeah, they look a little more hurried, but I mean, it's kind of the same image, and they don't really look scared. I mean, it's ducks are kind of expressionless, but they could at least it could at least add a little bit of urgency to that. I don't know, but I mean, it's not a bad image, but I've had a lot of times where I tried to generate a specific image using AI, and it just would not, for the life of it, generate the exact image that I wanted. So you've got to be a strong word painter to use this effectively. As far as my pros and cons go officially, pros, it's highly customizable and it's high quality, as you can see in this image here, and it's free and it also saves time. But the cons, sometimes it's not specific enough and it lacks genuinity. Touching back on the stock photos with the image attribution, if you put on there that it was generated by AI, then people are just gonna they're gonna look at your blog, and they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this guy doesn't even care about the thing that the blog that he's trying to make. And President Russell M. Nelson of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints once said that the Lord loves effort. That's the same with people. People love effort. That's why a car that was made with hands is more impressive than a 2025 RAV4 with a ton of high tech in it and computers and all that. Like, it's great and convenient, but it's not impressive, and people don't really look at it that much because it's just a machine of convenience. And that's what AI does with images. So that's the biggest con with AI. So now I want to touch on self-generated images. So these are some images that I took of baby ducks, and you can do this with any camera or picture taking source pretty easily. Excuse me. I used a Canon Rebel T7 for this, and even if you're not much of a photographer, that's okay, because it's got an auto setting with the whole lighting and all, so you don't have to worry too much about aperture and shutter speed if you're completely new or foreign to photography. So yeah, and a phone works great as well. And then Google has this app called Snapseed where you can edit your pictures pretty professionally, change the coloring and brightness and all that. So that's a pretty valid option. Picture taking yourself, and the reason why I like this better is because you can take the image yourself. You can make it whatever you want. Like, look at this picture right here. It's so cute. And look at all these ducks, you know. And if I wanted to make a blog addressing the issue that I'm trying to address with like ducks crossing the street, I'd probably choose this one because it looks like it's in a populated area. You've got a fence here and it's standing on concrete. There's not really a road, but here's the part where this would be the stock images in AI. After I took these images, I actually helped the ducks cross the road, and there was an oncoming car, and I kind of held my hand up to make people stop and see. That's the thing that a genuine original image offers that AI doesn't. It's a story that you can have with the image. See, with AI, like what would you include? You wouldn't include anything about the image, but with the picture that you took, you got your own personal story, and that allows you to connect with your audience. They'll be like, "Oh, this guy took the image, and he's got a fun story behind it." Now I feel more connected to the author of this post. So the pros and cons for this, honestly, the pros outweigh the cons mostly. More authenticity, more genuine connection to the audience, and more control over the photos. There are some pretty heavy cons, however. It takes more time and resources to acquire these pictures. It also requires more skill. With this, you'd have to be a duck whisperer to get them to do exactly what you want. And then it's just harder to find scenes to capture. Not everyone runs into a family of ducks every day. It's really hard to find a family of ducks. I got incredibly lucky with this. So yeah, those are pretty heavy cons, but definitely worth it. If you can make it happen, that's definitely the way to do it. So anyways, thank you guys for watching my video. I hope it was helpful. Just to summarize everything, while stock and AI generated photos provide quick and easy solutions when you can't really have the resources required to take pictures, they lack the genuineness that original photos provide. So I would highly recommend using your own camera, going out, finding opportunities, and just taking pictures yourself. AI is a great source for telling you how you can take effective pictures. There's also plenty of books written. There's also plenty of websites and YouTube videos that instruct you how to use a camera and take effective pictures. So anyways, please be sure to consult with AI and feel free to leave a comment on this post asking any questions you might have. I'm happy to answer any. So send them my way. Have a good day.